Welcome to Unshakable Belief, the podcast for anyone ready to break free from burnout, reclaim their health, and rise into the life they were meant to live. I'm Monica Connolly, your host. I am an international best-selling author, a trauma-informed coach, and a speaker. I know what it feels like to carry the weight of the world while slowly losing yourself in the process, because I've been there. Through chronic illness, identity loss, and survival mode, I had to rebuild from the inside out. This show is where real transformation begins through raw conversations, expert insights, and mindset shifting solo episodes. You'll get the tools, stories, and support to reset your body, rewire your thoughts, and step boldly into your next chapter. You are not here by accident, and your story is far from over. Let's begin. Welcome back to Unshakable Belief. I'm your host, Monica Connolly, and I'm so glad that you're here with me today for episode 2 of season 2. If you listened to episode 1, you know this season is all about healing from the inside out, reclaiming who you are, and rising into the life you were created to live. Today, we're going to dive deep into a topic that changed everything for me: boundaries. Boundaries are one of the most misunderstood tools for healing and growth. A lot of people hear that word and instantly think of shutting people out, being cold, or being selfish. But boundaries aren't walls, they're bridges. They are doors you open to what gives you life and doors you close to what drains you. They're a way you protect your energy, your purpose, and your health. It's not just theory, it's lived truth for me. Boundaries helped me move from burnout to breathing again, from people pleasing to purpose, and from exhaustion to energy. And I want that for you. So, whether you're listening on your commute, during a workout, or curled up with your journal, I want you to settle in. This episode is long because we're going to unpack this topic in detail. I want you to leave not only inspired, but equipped with practical tools, stories, and science backed strategies you can use starting today. So, take a deep breath with me right now. Inhale for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. Hold for 4. This is your time. Let's reset and let's dig in. I didn't grow up learning healthy boundaries. In fact, I grew up in a world where boundaries were almost seen as rejection. My family valued self sacrifice, and asking for what you needed was often labeled as selfish. As a little girl, I learned that being the good girl meant saying yes, keeping the peace, being helpful, and never making waves. Maybe you can relate. As I moved into adulthood, that pattern followed me. I became the anchor for everyone: a wife, a mom, a caregiver. I wore the badge of reliable like it was a crown of honor, but behind closed doors, it was costing me dearly. Chronic stress, chronic illness, chronic pain, emotional eating, weight gain, anxiety, depression. My body was breaking down under the weight of serving everyone but myself. I remember vividly a season when I was juggling caregiving for my husband after his traumatic brain injury, raising kids with medical needs, and still trying to keep up with work and home. My phone never stopped ringing. My email inbox was never empty. My plate was always overflowing. And I kept telling myself, just push through. Just do more. You'll be fine. But I wasn't fine. The cracks began to show everywhere. In my marriage, resentment built because I was carrying invisible loads no one saw. With friends, I found myself saying yes to events and favors while silently screaming no inside. And at church, I volunteered for everything because I thought it was the right thing to do, only to collapse in exhaustion later. At work, I picked up every task because I didn't want to disappoint anyone. Then I sat awake at night with racing thoughts. My health paid the price. Constant migraines, gut pain, major panic attacks. One day, my daughter asked me, "Are you happy?" And that truth hit me hard. I didn't even know anymore. That was my wake up call. I realized I had been living without boundaries, and the result wasn't just burnout, it was the slow erosion of my identity. Here's what I want you to hear: boundaries are not about pushing people away, they're about protecting the person you're created to be. Without them, you lose yourself. With them, you rediscover yourself. Boundaries gave me my life back. So, what are boundaries really? They're agreements you make with yourself, with others about how you will be treated, how you will use your time, and how you'll honor your energy. Boundaries are meant to be protective, not punitive. They keep you safe and whole, flexible, not rigid. They shift as the seasons of life shift. They're empowering, not limiting. They free you to say yes to what matters most. Boundaries are not a way to control others, a punishment, or a wall to shut people out. Think of your life like a garden. Boundaries are the fence around that garden. Without a fence, anyone or anything can trample through, pulling up flowers and leaving weeds behind. With a fence, you choose what comes in and what stays out. Your garden thrives, not because you built a fortress, but because you created healthy protection. One of the biggest myths that women believe is that boundaries are selfish. But selfishness says it's all about me. Boundaries say I matter too. And that distinction is everything. Because when you live without boundaries, resentment grows. You overextend, you overgive, and eventually you collapse. That helps no one. I want to bust another myth. Boundaries mean you'll lose people. Sometimes, yes. People who only valued you for what you could give may step away when you stop overgiving. But what you gain is priceless: peace, health, purpose, and relationships that thrive on honesty, not obligation. Here's what I learned: boundaries are a form of love. They are love for yourself because you can't keep pouring from an empty cup. They're love for others because when you show up with boundaries, you show up fully, honestly, and without resentment. Now let's talk science. In episode 1, we touched on the nervous system and the subconscious mind. Here's how it connects to boundaries. 95% of what you do every day comes from your subconscious programming. That means that most of your yeses, your reactions, your habits, they're automatic. If you grew up believing that no one was safe, if you grew up believing that saying no was unsafe, or that your worth comes from being needed, your brain wired itself to repeat that. So when you start to set boundaries, your nervous system is going to resist. It feels unsafe. It feels wrong, but it's not wrong. It's just unfamiliar. This is neuroplasticity at work. Every time you set and keep a boundary, you carve a new neural pathway. The first time, it's going to feel shaky. The second time, it still feels really hard. But over time, your brain learns this is safe. This is good. You literally rewire yourself to honor your needs. Every time you honor a boundary, your brain releases dopamine. That's the feel-good neurotransmitter. So you're not just saying no, you're teaching your brain that protecting your peace feels rewarding. That's why the more you practice boundaries, the easier it gets. Let's go deeper into survival responses: fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. Many women I work with default to fawning, people pleasing, as a survival response. It's not weakness, it's biology. When you learn boundaries, you retrain your nervous system to find safety, not in fawning, but in truth. The vagus nerve, the longest nerve in your body, plays a huge role here. When you set boundaries and practice regulation, like deep breathing, humming, or grounding, you activate the vagus nerve, signaling to your body that you're safe. Mirror neurons also matter. So when your children or loved ones watch you honor boundaries, their brains learn that boundaries equal safety. I like the saying that toxic thoughts create toxic trees in the brain. And one of the most toxic thoughts women carry is, I don't matter as much as everyone else. Boundaries uproot that toxic thought and replace it with a healthy one. I am worthy of rest, space, and respect. That new thought becomes a new tree, and that tree produces life. Let's connect this to your physical health. Functional medicine always asks, what is the root cause? And one of the most common root causes I see is stress from poor boundaries. When you live without boundaries, your cortisol, the stress hormone, it stays elevated. High cortisol leads to inflammation. Inflammation leads to weight gain, hormone imbalances, gut issues, autoimmunity, fatigue, brain fog, you name it. Your body literally carries the cost of saying yes when you mean no. There are a few boundary resets you can try for your health. A sleep boundary. Create a non negotiable bedtime. Protect like an appointment with your future. Another is a nutrition boundary. Notice what foods give you energy and which ones drain you. Honor that, even if others pressure you. A digital boundary. Turn off your phone at night. Your nervous system wasn't designed to be on 24/7. Also, an emotional boundary. Stop apologizing for rest. Rest is medicine, and you don't owe anyone an explanation for it. When I began honoring these boundaries, my health shifted. I had more energy, less inflammation, better sleep, and a clearer mind. Boundaries aren't just emotional, they're physical. Your body needs them. Now, boundaries can feel awkward, especially if you've never set them before. So, let me give you some scripts that you can practice. Around a time boundary, you can say, I'd love to help, but I'm not available at that time. A work boundary. I want to give this project my full attention. Can we revisit this next week? An emotional boundary. I value our relationship, but I'm not comfortable discussing this with you. A family boundary. I love you and I need to protect my energy right now. Can we connect later when I can be fully present? Notice how these are kind but firm. They don't over explain, they don't justify, they're clear. And clarity is kindness. Here's my coaching tip: practice these in the mirror, say them out loud, feel how your body reacts. At first, your chest may tighten or your stomach may knot up. That's just your nervous system learning. Keep practicing until it feels natural. And remember this: no is a complete sentence. Role playing helps too. Imagine your boss asks you to take on another project. Instead of saying yes immediately, say something like, I want to give this the focus it deserves. Can we revisit this next week when I have more clarity on my workload? This shifts the pressure and creates space. Or when a family member guilt trips you, I love you and I need to protect my energy right now. Let's connect another time when I can be fully present. Boundaries spoken in love often surprise people because they reveal a stronger, healthier you. What if someone ignores your boundary? It's common. The key is consistency. Calmly repeat it. I understand, but this is what I can do. You don't need to escalate. Your job is to simply stay firm. Let's pause here. Grab your journal if you can and take down these prompts. Where in my life do I feel consistently drained? What is a boundary that could change that? What fear comes up when I think about setting that boundary? What would my life look like if I honored that boundary for 30 days? Now, if you're in a safe place, close your eyes. Imagine yourself 1 year from now. You've set boundaries, you've honored them. Your mornings start with peace, not panic. Your body feels rested, not depleted. Your relationships are honest, not resentful. Picture yourself smiling, laughing, and present. That life is possible, and it starts with one boundary today. I love to add a grounding exercise to this. Place your hand on your heart and take 3 slow breaths. With each inhale, say silently, I am worthy. With your exhale, say, I am safe. Repeat this cycle. Feel your nervous system begin to relax. This is the energy you bring when you set boundaries. You are not broken. You are awakening. Boundaries aren't walls, they are bridges to the life you were created for. Before you go, don't forget to grab your free gift, the Reset Toolkit. The link is in the show notes. Download it today and start your reset. If this episode spoke to you, please rate, review, and share this podcast with a friend. And don't forget, my Reset Group Coaching Program begins November 4th. Join me at monicaconnollycoaching.com or send me a message and we'll connect. Until next time, remember, you, my friend, were made for more. Reset, rewire, and rise in purpose. Thank you for spending this time with me today. My hope is that something you heard sparks the courage to take one small step toward the life you were created for. If you're looking for deeper support on your journey, you'll find free resources, coaching opportunities, and ways to connect with me at my website, monicaconnollycoaching.com. And remember this, you are not too far gone, it's not too late, and you are never alone. Keep rising, keep healing, and keep believing, because you, my friend, were made for so much more.